So Darren Fletcher's first game in charge of United, and we stuck to some recent trends. We played some good football, but then at times we also seemed to just guide the opposition team towards our goal. I said last night it's a game that we win 99 times out of 100. United did more than enough to win this game. But it also highlighted some worrying issues we have in this squad still, no matter who the manager is going to be. Let's break down that Burnley game then, guys. As always, drop a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's get into it.
Go! Let's go, let's go, let's go!
So United set up in the back four, and the only real surprise is that we saw Dogu on the left and Cunha on the right. And it seemed to me and most other fans that would have been better off if we switched them round. Dogu did have a very good assist from the left, but he still continues to show for me that he just should be a fullback. But we know that. What you could see from the average positions of these players was how far Cunha was tucked in from that right-hand side, and you could see almost how deep Dogu was as well. So it was almost as if we had two sort of left-backs playing on the left, and then also two number 10s and not really anyone on the right-hand side. Obviously, Fletcher did see that, and he obviously made that change in the second half, put Bruno Fernandes more towards that right-hand side, and United got a goal from that. So credit to him for making those adjustments. But still, obviously, going into the next few games now, something needs to be done with Cunha's positioning, as he was disappointing. I thought overall in playing from that right-hand side, you have him wandering around an awful lot, and he's also not contributing that much defensively. So that's going to be an area where you're looking at it, well, can he really play on these wings now if we are going to go to 4 at the back? And it's always been a question now surrounding Cunha. It was United's defending in this game that really did let him down. At times our block just wasn't compact enough. But then you add in the individual errors that led to the 2 Burnley goals. I mean, it's just hard to really contemplate what goes on in these players' minds sometimes. But you've got to hear, and I've highlighted Cunha because he's probably more meant to be on that right-hand side, but he stays tucked in field. As you run it on, you can see Darlow going, well, lads, I got 3 players here to mark and there's no one really helping me. So he's calling out for help. You've still got Cunha here, still in that sort of midfield position rather than going out to help. Casemiro, as you run it on, does go out to help. But this is where the problem really arises then, is you've still got this 3v2 on United's right-hand side, but Casemiro just sort of ball watches. As that ball goes back into Hannibal, Casemiro obviously should be tracking that runner that's going on behind him, but he simply just doesn't. Leaves him run off him. So this player for Burnley then can have that free run on United's box. Heaven obviously doesn't want to go out there. He's still got Burnley's striker to go and mark. He might be probably, if anything, a little bit slow to go out there. And he still obviously just doesn't set his feet right. Probably one of the issues of him being on the right-hand side as a left footer, goes at the ball with his left foot. The ball ends up spooning into the back of United's net. Obviously, it was a lucky goal for Burnley, but it was this culmination of errors that led to that goal, and it just seems far too often the United have these errors in and around our own box. And for Burnley's second goal, I'm going to highlight Martinez here, because the ball progression again was off the charts. He did super well at getting United from their own box into the Burnley half. Obviously, that's what we know is one of his main strengths. But if he can't defend properly from that centre-back position, especially in a back 4, then United will keep conceding these simple goals. And Martinez was really at fault for that Burnley second goal. Wasn't completely him. Again, United in midfield, there's numbers there, but they're just simply not putting enough pressure on the ball. They're allowing Edwards to pick that pass further forward. But when that Anthony gets that ball, Martinez gets himself in such a weird position. He's almost sort of thinking that the player's going to go down the touchline, but he's not shaped that way at all. He just allows the Burnley player to easily cut inside, and then he's just 1 or 2 yards off him, basically allowing him to shoot. Never gets tight enough to him, just allows him to get that shot off. Again, another pretty simple defensive error that leads to a Burnley goal. They had 2 goals from 1 shot on target in this game. Overall, United, obviously we kept the ball well. We didn't allow Burnley that much into United's box. But when we did, the errors just really came to the fore then.
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere.
And now I disagreed with Amorim on quite a few things, but one thing he was right about was the fact that United do need midfielders. I was crying out for midfielders in the summer when United went out and obviously just signed all attackers. We needed midfielders then. And it was never really a priority from the United board, and yet again, it's another mistake that they've made. We only just threw in that last-minute Baleba bid, which I think they really knew wasn't going to get accepted. Obviously, with Fernandes not fully fit, you got Mino the same. He's still coming back in from injury as well. You got Casemiro and Ugarte in that double pivot, and United, we still created enough, but some of the passing play was pretty sloppy, and both of them were just diving into challenges in the middle of the pitch as well, and it just all seemed a bit unnecessary. Casemiro, I thought, had done well this season, obviously, after he had that criticism from Carragher in the past.
Leave the football before the football leaves you.
But this did really feel like a game from one of his old Ten Hag days that prompted Carragher to say that sort of stuff, because as you look at it here, Kyle Walker manages to get past Dogu and get that pass off into midfield. As Edwards picks up that ball here, you've got Casemiro. You can see him like an absolute wrecking ball trying to get to that Burnley player, and he gets absolutely nowhere near him. Edwards skips past him as if he's not there, and then you can see Casemiro completely taken out of the game, and then United, they just left scrambling, trying to defend their own back line then. Edwards can pass that ball forward, Burnley have a dangerous attack. Obviously, if you do this up against better teams, that's when you're really going to have some of the problems. United got away with it when Casemiro and Ugarte were largely doing it in this game, but there's going to be other games where we're going to get punished for those simple mistakes in midfield. And lastly, I do want to touch on Seshko because it did feel like he was starting to find his stride in this game. Neville and Sherwood were piling on him at half-time, and he did grow into it massively in that second half, and he did obviously prove what the striker that he can be. But also, my only criticism of him in this game was that he didn't have a hat-trick. 7 shots on target, and he probably should have scored more than the 2 goals. But you can talk about that first goal, because that was a lovely little run by him. Obviously, lovely goal as well. But this second one was absolutely peak centre-forward play, and absolutely loved it. I've highlighted the Seshko run here, and he initially makes a little bit of a dart as if he's going to go to the back post. He gets the Burnley centre-back moving that way. But then as you run it on then, Seshko he changes his stride, goes to the front post instead. He just gets enough separation from that Burnley centre-back, exactly what he needs, and then he can get United in front in this game then. It was a lovely bit of centre-forward play. And there's no doubt Seshko is still very raw and he's got a lot to work on. But we knew that when we signed him. I just hope now that whoever United bring in as their next manager, whether it's interim obviously initially, but then obviously long-term as well, I hope whoever it is can really help him just smooth out those rough edges, because there's stuff to his game that I really, really like, but obviously he's still got that rawness to him as well. So I just hope now that in the future we can start to build on games like this for Seshko now. All in all, I think Fletcher did pretty well given the fact that he only had a couple of days to prepare. But this result was super frustrating. We've got Brighton in the FA Cup next up, City and Arsenal after that. It's going to be tougher games to come. But if anything, we've done better against the harder teams this year. So maybe that might be a good thing. But also we got Fernandes, Mino, Mount getting back into fitness hopefully now. Hopefully we're going to have Ahmed and Mbeumo back soon. I still think there's so much in this squad for an interim, whatever it's going to be, to work with. Hopefully get us in those Champions League places for next season, but only time will tell. As always, guys, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.